Hello? That's loud. Hello and welcome to the show. My show on a Hummel. Feel free to call in so I can put you on hold. 813-90 Bubba. Be with you for the next, I always say like, I'm only going to do 45 minutes. And then I'm here for like an hour and a half. But sometimes I get going and I don't want to stop. And sometimes there's a lot of things that weren't talked about during the main show that I have to either A, get off my chest or just discuss it with you people. You people out there. 813-90 Bubba. So many things to talk about. We had a 5-day weekend, which was awesome. I was super confused because I just felt like it felt like Sunday 4 days in a row. So I was driving on Wednesday and I was hitting traffic and I was super confused. And then I'm like, oh, right, it's Wednesday. And sorry, I'm trying to adjust this mic here. Just give me a second. It's Wednesday and I don't understand why there's traffic. That doesn't make any sense to me. And then I was like, it's a weekday and people have work and shit, but not us. So yeah, it was super cool. 2-day week. The Tarpons game was phenomenal because, I mean, I didn't watch it or anything, but the turnout was the best I'd ever seen. Thank you to everybody that came out, all the cast of characters from, the usual faces, the Susan Poitresses, the Teases, the Big Reds, Creatine Travis, just, the greatest hits. In addition to some new people like Chad and his wife and Robbie, the internet guy. And thank you to the man. And I don't hate me for, forgetting your name. It's not that I forgot it really. It's just there was a lot going on and maybe I had a drink or two. And, I love it. The best compliment you can give me is something to do with me improving your health or me screaming about something. And you come up to me and you say that the intermittent fasting worked. And it feels good because I helped you. But more than that, I just like knowing that I was right about something. So please always come up, even if, I'm talking to somebody else, you just interject and you go, yo, I lost 40 pounds. You were right. I'm like, yeah, I got a boner. Thank you very much. So a fantastic turnout. Apparently there was a big walk-off. I don't even know what the fuck that means on the at the end of the game. They were like, oh, we're just so far ahead. Apparently Bubba was heckling people. I talked to Bubba for maybe in the ballpark of 4 to 5 seconds. We said hello. We exchanged a brief hug, and then we were just schmoozing the whole time. Some of the people I was talking to weren't even Bubba Army, but kind of got brought in via Bubba Army. I don't want to give too much away because it's telling details of a story that I don't feel like I'm at liberty to talk about. But we have a mutual friend, and we were just kind of talking about this mutual friend for like an hour and a half. So that was awesome. And this person was like, I just got brought along to the game. I don't even listen to the show. And I'm like, whatever. Let's talk about this friend that we have in common and how we're so happy for them. It was excellent. It was awesome. So thank you to everybody that came out. Next weekend, next Friday, I can't believe it. It's already a Bubba 199. We'll be celebrating the birth of our Lord and Savior, Lum Lum. So make sure that you tune in. It keeps changing on me. I think it's Rumble. I'm pretty sure it's Rumble. We'll be on Rumble. That's TBD. I'm pretty sure I remember that, but my brain's saying Twitch, but I think it's Rumble. We'll be on Rumble live 8 to 10 p.m. next Friday, Eastern time. No DJ Hum Sauce, but we'll be having fun, throwing back a few drinks, making money. And the baby. I met the baby, baby OFF. That baby took up so much of my time and it was awesome. And I felt bad because I would see it. People, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen it. I didn't know you were here. They're like, yeah, I wanted to say hi, but you were talking to that baby. I'm like, that baby was adorable. There's something about just chubby baby legs that just gets me, and I'm all about staying trim and fitness, but not when you're a baby. Ain't nobody want to see no lean ass string bean of a baby. That's the only time in your life, folks, where you can really get away with being, what appears to be, like a little Buddha, severely overweight, can't even walk, but just the cutest thing ever. I need to see a fat baby. But yes, huge thank you to everybody that came out. It was phenomenal. And next week, I love it. I love that. I feel like we're in the throes of summer. We got a lot going on. I feel like, I've been going to New York and Idaho, and now I'm living in a motherfucking penthouse, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, me and Mr. Blitz are staying in a penthouse for the week. And yesterday, rolling up to that penthouse, just looking like I don't belong. People are very confused why I have, a key to the building. But that's okay because they were on floor 11 and I was on floor 19. So suck it. I saw what you would see as a typical Tampa, I don't want to call her a Karen or anything like that because that would be racist. Like a blonde chick, had some work done, probably in her early 50s, late 40s, just kind of giving me a little bit of a side eye, like I don't belong because I got crazy hair and I'm wearing, a Bubba Army shirt or something like that. So I get in the elevator and she's just like, the wet floor. I was like, 19, bitch. And she was on floor 11. I'm like, jobber. So anyways, walk into this beautiful apartment and we've thrown a few. I don't want to give too much away because I'm trying to be like real, low key about it. So I don't want people knowing where I'm staying or, where this woman lives or anything like that. But it's pretty, it's pretty high class. So I roll into this I keep calling it, that's its slave name. It is a condo, ladies and gentlemen. It is a condo. Roll into this condo and nobody's there. Obviously, it is spotless. And I just see the view. It's about sunset. It's like 7:50, so sun's going down, just this beautiful view. My friend told me, she's like, "Hey, Anna, anything in the fridge you want, you have. Anything in the pantry you want, it's yours." I said, "Amazing." But, I always think people aren't leaving much. Maybe a can of corn. Maybe there's some mayonnaise in the fridge. I'm not expecting much. So I brought a bunch of groceries over because we just went grocery shopping. So I brought all those groceries over from my place. And I'm about to just, stock the fridge with my stuff until I open the fridge and I realize it's already stocked. Eggs, cottage cheese, any peanut butter, almond butter I could ever want. I'm like, holy shit, this place is stocked up. So now the fridge is super stocked with my stuff and her stuff. Pantry is full. Because when she was doing the tour, when she was teaching me about the place, the unit, the condo, the penthouse, please, that's what it's called. You can't be going, well, what's in here? What's in there? You can't really be doing the full snoop, as I like to do, because there's nothing more that I love than going through someone's pantry. It is just, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I've seen every granola bar that's ever been made and any sort of a little pastry deal or the nuts and the chocolate or whatever. Like, I know this stuff exists. It's not like it's something I haven't seen before, but there's just something special about rummaging through people's shit. Maybe something I haven't had in a while that maybe I have a hankering for. I don't know. Or just eating stuff that doesn't belong to me that I didn't pay for also gets me going. So it was awesome. I'm going through all that stuff. And then I see out of the corner of my eye a little envelope with my name on it, Blitz's name on it. And I feel it. It's got some weight to it. I go, I think I might know what this is. And I open it up. It's a thank you card. I mean, the woman's got class. She's just like, here's a thank you for taking care of our cat, for taking care of the shit. Brian from Philly, $20. Thank you. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, I opened the thank you card and out falls. Well, first I did read the card. I don't want to say I didn't read the card. Of course, I read the card. Just said thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And it was $100 to Publix, and there is a Publix pretty close by. So fantastic, classy. And it's just, I was sitting out on the balcony, and you know me, I can never just be normal. There's always like a twist in my head. Like I can never just, and I'm realizing that over the last 4 days, 5 days, in your mind prior to a staycation like that or a vacation, you go, man, I'm going to be doing so much relaxing. But then I realized that I am incapable of relaxing. I've come to the conclusion that there's some weird wiring in the brain now that's happened through many years of discipline where if I am not, somewhat uncomfortable or pushing myself or consuming something that is at least trying to flex my brain, I start punishing myself mentally. So, for example, if I'm just like, I didn't work out today, maybe I spent too much time, even though I deleted my own Instagram, I still go on for the Bubba Army deal. And sometimes you get trapped. They grab my hand, they trap me in, and then 45 minutes later, I'm like, why was I watching 45 minutes of people making oatmeal? That seems pointless. Why did I do that? It's not that it's that interesting. Why couldn't I pull myself away? It has this like soothing effect on me initially when I haven't seen the Instagram in a while, and I go on and I just kind of get lost in the scrolling. It's just like, at first it's a soothing effect where I'm just like, mindless, brainless shit. This is great. I'm not worrying about, geopolitical tensions or China or, lately I've been doing a lot of research on metabolic dysfunction and mitochondrial uncoupling. A lot of that stuff takes a lot of focus. Sometimes it's nice just to let the brain relax a little bit. But the brain doesn't need to relax for an hour and a half, which sometimes happens. It gets away from you. I'm sure this has happened to all of us at some point where we're just on the socials and you're just like, well, you're like, what the fuck just happened? Where did that 45 minutes go? 45 minutes I'll never get back. But boy, did I learn about putting blueberries in fucking oatmeal. So I don't know. I basically come to the conclusion that if I'm not suffering, then I get down on myself. So we went on a long walk. For example, we went on a long, I don't want to say grueling. We live somewhat in the vicinity of, northern Pinellas County. And we went to, I'll just say we went to Honeymoon Island on one of the days. I think it was Wednesday. And it was a long walk. It wasn't really, it was hard because it was hot out, obviously. And also there was a lot of shells and I didn't have shoes on and that was annoying. So my feet were pretty raw when we came back from the walk and we had been out in the sun for literally over 2.5 hours. But I didn't feel like I got my heart rate up enough. So I forced myself to go out on the bike, back out at about noon when it's heat of the day, and went on an hour bike ride where I could actually get into, zone 2 or 3. So, I feel like normal people go, wow, I just went on a 2.5 hour walk. That should suffice for the day. That's enough of a bit of a grueling activity. But my brain goes, well, yeah, you could do that. If you're a pussy. And then I'm like, no, that you could suffer more. And I'm like, why do I do this? But it's one of those things where sometimes you get in the weeds when you start learning about different things about the brain. And I'm just trying to essentially get a bigger pop of dopamine. And I've realized through the research that I've done is the best way to kind of replenish that dopamine that you lose when you're doing things that are easy. When you're doing things like scrolling on social media or watching TV or eating good food. When you're doing stuff that's easy, your brain is like, this is awesome initially, but then it just it's hard to get that pop. We've all done that. Watching TV for an hour after you've had a hard day at work and running around is awesome. Watching an hour of TV at night when you've already been watching 8 hours of TV, it's not the same pop. You don't feel quite as good about yourself. You don't, can't put on I feel like George W. at the inauguration, just trying to mess with the poncho. If you're watching this, yeah, you don't get that same pop. So I'm like, all right, how do I kind of get that pop of dopamine, which is, as Dr. Huberman says, it is limited, but, ultimately infinitely replenishable. So, you do hit a cap, but then if you start hitting that cap, what you do is you go do something hard like a puzzle or a workout or a walk or whatever. And by hard, I mean, yeah, maybe a walk isn't hard, but it's not sitting on your ass, is what I'm saying. It registers as like, I don't want to say pain in the brain, but it's a challenge. So when you do something like that and then you return to the TV or sitting down to have a snack, then you get a bigger pop of dopamine. So in my head, I'm trying to, I've hijacked the system. Call back 813-90-Bubba. Hijack the system. So now in order for me to not feel anything, but I'm like, man, I really want a big pop. That's literally what I think. I'm like, I'm going to go torture myself for an hour. So I go out at like 12:30 p.m. It's fucking 93 degrees and I'm on the bike. I was already kind of beat from just walking in the sun for 2.5 hours, but I'm like, nope. You could do more. I'm like, could you do more? You can do more. Do more. Do more. Do more. So it gets to the point where it's like, dude, just fucking chill. So I have to kind of come back in with the chill. I don't know if that's is it a new 20? I don't think it is. It might be. Brian from Philly, thank you so much. If not, it's just a reminder. I know last time I missed, I wrote his name down. It was $50. Joe. We announced it the following day. So I apologize if you on the super chat. I'm looking at the tubes right now. Appreciate you. 813-90-Bubba. So I feel like even during these last few days where it was very relaxing, or at least it should have been, my brain is in overdrive because when I don't have things to do, like I don't have to be at work or I don't have jujitsu, I don't have whatever, I start to backfill with other shit that I should be doing, I don't know if anybody else's brain works like this, but it's got to the point where I'm like, do I need to go to therapy? Because like I literally can't fucking relax. I wake up and I'm like, go be productive, go be useful, go be doing something. We need to be moving, and you better not stay on Instagram for an hour and a half looking at dance videos or people making a healthy bread with almond flour, some bullshit that that I'm marginally interested in and isn't even that interesting, but somehow you just get sucked into the vortex. And it's really not not that it's like a character flaw, because the people it's in Silicon Valley know what they're doing. They know how the human brain works and how to hijack it, and they know that it's addictive, and it's addictive not only to kids or to adults or to elderly people. It's addictive to everybody. Some of the worst culprits of social media, and I know we all know this, it's those boomers on Facebook, man. I see it when I was at my mom's house. The bitch loves Facebook, and I get it. It's addictive. You see something, and you want to keep scrolling and looking and reading, and you're just like, why am I wasting my time here? You never really quite feel good about it. So I always try to think retroactively. I'm like, is this something when you're about to open Instagram this is me talking to myself, when you're about to open this up, and then you're going to get sucked in, because you always get sucked in, and then you never feel good about the time you've wasted. It's never like, man, I'm really glad I just wasted that 30 minutes. You're always like, man, why did I waste that fucking 30 minutes? So I'm like, all right, let's try to do something else. So I'm going to try this new thing. It's called reading. I'm going to try to do that this week while I'm in this. The penthouse is, I wish I could show you guys a video of it, because it's very zen, and I'm a very sensitive to zen kind of person. I can't just like sit and read in any location. It's got to be like, I got to feel relaxed. I got to be around earth tones. I like earth tones. They make me feel just at peace, tranquility. I don't like bright colors around me in a home. No crazy accent walls. Like, let's just keep it fucking earth tones, neutral tones, that sort of thing. Light colors, open windows, views, like that sort of stuff gets me in the mindset of like, all right, this is a place where we can be studious. This is a place where we can focus. This is a place where we can try to calm our mind. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try this thing called reading and try to bring it back. Just try to, rope it back in, because lately I feel like I've been wasting a lot of time on bullshit stuff. And if I'm not on the gram, then maybe I'm on the tubes. And if you're on the tubes, I'm sure there's been a new addition, let's say in the last, year, 2 maybe, of YouTube Shorts, which is essentially Instagram on YouTube. And so then I'm like, well, I'm not on Instagram. It's like, yeah, but you're on a thing that's playing videos nonstop. And the thing that sucks about this sort of deal is that, and I don't know if you guys remember, but Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, you would have to actively scroll. Now it just keeps showing you the next video, the next post, the next video, the next post, the next video. And then you have to actively stop yourself from continuing, versus before it was you had to actively seek something out. You would actively watch another video. Now it just auto plays, just auto starts the next video. And then you're just like locked in like a fucking zombie. And I'm like, how is it that I can will myself to do all the things I do at the gym, to go to jujitsu, although I didn't train this week, don't hate me. To eat like a rabbit, to fast. I have like all this self-control, but then when it comes to fucking Instagram and watching, I don't know, cat videos. I don't really watch cat videos. I watch a lot of like the baking shit. I just find it relaxing. How come when it comes to that, I can't pull the trigger and go, how about no? How about not that? For some reason, it's just they've hijacked something in the brain. They know how it works, and they know you start looking at a few things, and then they feed you more, no pun intended, they feed you more of what you were looking at, so they know that's how they catch you, and that's how they grip you, and they've held your attention hostage for the last hour. And then you never feel good about it. You're like, well, how the fuck did I let that happen for the, I don't know, 412th time? This surprises no one when I open the app or YouTube. I know what's going to happen. This isn't going to surprise anybody. But there's just this little part of your brain, and I'm really trying to like listen to the voice in my head and like see where it goes and what it tells, the justifications it brings you. It's the brain is an interesting thing, because you go, okay, well, I did just, walk for 2.5 hours and then bike for an hour. It's usually a reward thing. I deserve to have a little break and to just sit down. Or maybe I watched a video that was kind of intense in terms of my focus, understanding. I'm constantly trying to stretch the boundaries of the things I have knowledge of, because I like learning new things. But that can be taxing on the brain. And even at a certain point in the night, I go, I don't want to fucking learn anything, because my brain is like, nope, we just want to watch something mindless. So you reward yourself. And I'm like, why? And then my tolerance for focus goes down. And now it's like, oh, this video is so long. And I'm like, Anna, it was 2 minutes and 34 seconds and you couldn't make it through. So that's a problem. So, I'm looking at all these techniques of how to focus better, how to get my attention back. I've lost my attention, and I don't have ADHD like everybody and their mom. It's nothing like that. It's the fact that, like a skill, like a discipline, you got to work on it. You can't just expect to be bombarded with 10-second videos and then focus for a solid 6 minutes. It's just not going to work. So you have to kind of do some focus work. So I'm going to start doing that a bit more diligently. And that starts with literally you looking at a spot on the wall and just focusing on it for like 3 minutes, and not allowing yourself to move around or get up or pick up the phone or, even go put away dishes or something like that. You just got to sit and look and focus and just be like, we're in this. Just what is your mind doing? Where's your mind going? Why am I thinking about that? I've tried meditation a few times, and listen, I'm all about this health bullshit, and by health, I mean inside and out, your mentals, your chickens, your macros, like the whole bill of health, everything from longevity to sets and reps to what you're eating, the sun, the sleep, all the fucking bullshit. I know that it's good to meditate, but I'm just like, no, don't want to do it too hard. Which is funny, because it's like, dude, meditation, just do nothing. Think about nothing. That's the goal, is to just try to, I guess, focus on your breath work and be in tune with what's going on inside. But we're constantly trying to escape what's in here, whether it's through drugs or alcohol or just distractions of your phone or, even chores or anything. Like, we're just so afraid to be alone with our thoughts. God forbid we start thinking, where will this mind go? But I've meditated a few times. Got to say, not a fan. But it's one of those things where I really haven't given it 100% effort. I've just kind of been lackluster, where I get spurts of motivation to try something like that. And I go, I don't like where my brain's going, so we're just going to shut it off, which is very antithetical to how I live my life and something I need to change, because usually the things that we're resisting the most are the things we need to be doing the most. I'm sure I've said that somewhat recently, but yeah, if you feel like you're getting a lot of resistance, it's a weakness, and you should probably lean into it a little bit harder and try to improve it just a little bit. And I noticed when I stay off of the social media, and I did take a bit of a social media detox for quite some time. Even when I was doing the Bubba Army Instagram, I was like, post and get the fuck out. Like, don't be hanging out. But, you creep back, you relapse a bit. I certainly have. And now, daily it's like, I don't know, like yesterday, I think it was like, I was sitting for 45 minutes. I'm like, what am I doing? Why? I could be watching at least an informative video on YouTube about Mao, Stalin, Greenland. Been doing a lot of research on Greenland all of a sudden. That's coming to the ice caps are fucking melting. It's creating another passageway for fucking China to be, bypassing our shit. Yeah, it's a problem. So anyways, I love that I'm trying to learn about stuff like that. But why do I always kind of fall back, relapse into mindless shit? It's initially it's relaxing. It's kind of like I can zone out. I'm not really thinking. I'm not really flexing, but I'm mildly entertained. But I never feel good about it. Anybody else? 813-90-BUBBA. So that's been my my challenge recently, is like learn how to try to relax and try to shut this off. Because if I'm awake, then I'm anxious about something, And I don't think that. I mean, everybody has anxiety, and everybody likes to claim that it's a condition or a disorder. It's like, all right, but what have you really done to try to mitigate it? Have you done anything? Have you done any heavy lifting? Or do you just think that it's completely out of the bounds of your control, which I refuse to believe. I feel like there are things with enough willpower and discipline and hard work that you can maybe not eliminate it. Obviously, no one can eliminate anxiety or stress, but there are certain things that you can do to better apt yourself to at least cope with it or deal with it or work through it. And nobody wants to do the hard work anymore, including myself sometimes. But yeah, it's weird because I feel like I can grit myself into doing a lot of like hard work in terms of like, gym and shit like that, or fasting. But when it comes to like relaxing and being alone with my thoughts and not being distracted by a video or social media or texting a friend or whatever, if it's just me and my noggin and what's going on in there, it's like, yikes. I don't want to know what the fuck's going on in there. Let's not do that. And then people resort to Marijangus, which is fine. But, I'm against anything that you need chronically all the time to feel normal. Like, that's probably not good for you. I don't care. I mean, I don't care what you do. Take fentanyl, fucking OD, whatever. Do your thing. But, even marijuana and people who fucking love marijuana, oh my God, it's just like, why don't you try to put that energy towards a career? You fucking know every strain of this and the CBD and all the laws. You could be a fucking lawyer when it comes to the marijuana laws. Why don't you put that towards something a little bit more productive? But hey, that's just me. But yeah, I don't think it's good to self-medicate all the time to feel normal, So yeah, I've been experimenting a lot with sobriety, actually. So I know people like to call in and they like to reference my heavy drug use. Bitch, I don't even do cocaine anymore. I don't like being awake anymore. I like being the fuck asleep. That's what I like. I like being asleep. And let me tell you, boy, that I had some good sleep at my rich friend's penthouse. Holy shit. She has this, guys, memory foam bed. Okay? I mean, it goes up, it goes down, it fucking shakes. It's the fuck amazing. I've never experienced memory foam quite like that. think I maybe have laid on a bed here or there at, mattress discounters or some shit where you're looking for a mattress. You're like, can't afford that shit. Well, my rich friend can. And that bed is probably in the ballpark of, I would say $10,000 to $15,000. Holy God. I mean, like I fell asleep almost instantly. It was ever so soft, but firm at the same time. It molds to you like foam, like memory foam. It was fantastic. And then the pillow was the same and had the perfect contour of the neck, and it was just phenomenal. And then I woke up this morning, wasn't happy about it, but I just opened my eyes and saw where I was and saw the skyline of, I almost said Canada, of Tampa. I forgot where I was, right? And I was just like, wow, life is good. Life is good. But I wouldn't want to live there. And I'll explain why after this call. Hello, who's this?
Hummel, it's Joe the Supermarket.
What's up, Holyoke Joe? Maria Guatemala was in full force taking pictures for you at the Tarpons game.
She's so wonderful.
Isn't
She's the most amazing person I've ever met in my entire life.
She was very serious about it too. She was like, Anna, we need to take a picture because Joe needs a picture. And I'm like, let's do it. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I was asking her on DJ Hum Sauce, I was asking her, can you just take a selfie but kind of aim it back, catch on in the background? And she didn't get the message until after. So I just, on a whim, I just said, hey, would you mind doing me a favor on Friday afternoon? And she said, yeah, what is it? And I said, well, can you just take a couple pictures of the field and, whatever.
Yeah, she was all about it. Yeah, she was not. I mean, she was on a woman on a mission. She was actively taking pictures and making sure that you receive them because she wants to make you feel like you're part of the crew, that you're part of all the action.
And I did, and I didn't feel like I missed anything. I felt like I was there with y'all. And she even shot a 56-second video of the food. And that's what I wanted to ask you about. What could you eat besides the salad and the fruit skewers?
That was pretty much all I ate. There were some cookies and stuff, so I kind of was able to eat that. Yeah. Good as hell. It was awesome. Fantastic spread. Fantastic spread. And thank you to, real quick, Captain Creamsicle and his wife. They gave us little goodie bags. So I got a hat. I got 2 hats, actually, and a shirt. It's fucking awesome. Thank you.
The same hat? 2 of the same?
Nope. Different hat. Nope. Because everybody that paid for the event got a hat. And then additionally, I was given a goodie bag, and that had a different hat in it. So I walked away with 2 hats and a shirt. It was awesome.
That's lit. I like the new hats because, the last time y'all went to the game, it was a black hat. And this time it's a gray hat, and it looks even cooler.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope. But what I was going to say was, I did this. I'm doing this intermittent fasting. I'm fasting for 20 hours every day, all thanks to you. I even started trying Fit Crunch protein bars because of you.
Really fucking good.
I'm going to tell you this, though. I was on the Celsius way before you, like years and years and years before. I look back to like 2018. I had messaged Bubba about Celsius and how awesome it is and how healthy, and they sell it in the GNC.
Well, let's not get crazy about the healthy, but yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They sell it in GNC, so whatever. So I guess
it's marketed like a health food thing. It's funny you mentioned that because I was at Publix the other day with Blitz, and we noticed that all the other energy drinks are in their own section, but Celsius, or as we call it, Celsius, because that's what Lummy called it one time and it stuck, that's in like the health food section, which we thought was interesting. Like they market it like it's health, like it's next to the protein shakes, not next to the Munsters. So anyways, go on.
On the top shelf?
Yes, correct. Yes, top shelf.
They always do. It's so high up you can't even reach it and
by
see
the protein bars and all the vitamins and the supplements and shit. Yeah.
So what I was getting at with that was, I'm doing all this stuff because you're showing me the way, and it's all wonderful and working amazing.
Fantastic.
Will you ever just try a morsel of meat?
I have. It's not like I've never had meat before. I've had the flesh of an animal in my mouth.
Now, though, would you do it like today? Would you go have chicken tikka masala?
Nah, fuck that, man. It's not even about like health. Like I don't even, me and my dad have this argument all the time because my dad's a vegan. But he's, he keeps it mostly to himself. But then when, him and I get in the weeds about it, he tells me how unhealthy it is. And I'm like, you can be a very unhealthy vegan. You can be a very healthy carnivore. Like, my main gripe with meat is usually, it's how it's prepared. Like maybe chicken is good, but maybe don't deep fry it. That's probably not the move. B, it's also the way that they raise the animals and how cleanly the conditions are in which they kill the animals, and are they pumped full of antibiotics and hormones? Because that obviously goes down, into the consumer. So those are my main issues. Like, if you were to go and hunt a fucking wild elk, that's certainly more healthy than being a vegan who's eating fucking, Impossible burgers, because that shit is not good for you, by the way. But anyways, I digress.
No,
Sorry, Joe.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, I have to ask one last question before I go, and
yeah,
I can't. I'm going to try to be coy with it. It's in regards to our conversation last week, and you were talking about maybe trying something one time and trying something new. Did you try it?
No, I haven't. Mostly because I had a conversation with Brian from Philly, and he's turned me against it. So I'm trying to go all natural. And if you're wondering what it is,
and
it's Ambien.
No,
I haven't tried it.
Cool.
I want to
blow your spot up, but
no, I haven't. No. I've been off the Xanny game too, and the Klonopin game. I'm trying to go all natural. I know.
It's possible, but it sucks because I'm up from 2 to 5 every morning, unable to sleep, so uncomfortable and so much pain. And when I took the Capons, I could actually sleep. But I'm not on them, and I don't like what they were doing to me anyways. It's just like you said, unnecessary. I'm spreading the word that you're spreading. People are supposed to feel emotions. It's human. It's normal. You can't quell all your emotions with things. You know what I'm saying? So you preach in a different way than what I'm used to hearing in church and whatnot.
Right.
And I love all your messages and your fire all the time. And I'm gonna shut up and just let you rant. And I'm excited. So Lana, thank you for everything. And God bless.
Thank you. God bless you, Joe. God bless you. Yeah, I'm. Even though I do love Xanny bars and Klonopin, and they're beautiful, And I talk a lot of shit on Big Pharma, but gotta give credit where credit is due. I do think it's important to just try to be as natural as possible, unfortunately, and that way, when you really do need it, it actually fucking works. Because I don't want to get to the point where it's like, oh, I was on a quarter Xan, and now that doesn't do shit. So now I need a half a bar, and then 3/4, and then a full bar, and it's just like. It gets away from you. So I think the more that you can just rely on your own body to try to function from everything from falling asleep to, what you're consuming, just trying to get it so it's mostly untouched from the earth. I'm a big fan of shit from the earth, which is weird because, it is strange that I feel like the people sometimes, it's because I'm very interested in like culture wars and the right and the left, and sometimes they switch positions on things. Like, 20 years ago or 23 years ago, it seemed like the right was a little bit more gung-ho about going into places like Iraq and Afghanistan and fucking shit up. And it was usually the left that was like, hey, let's not start wars. Well, fast forward fucking 23 years, and it seems like I'll just say they, whatever. They've switched sides, non-binary. They've switched sides where it seems like the people on the right are like, hey, let's cool it on the fucking wars, man. We keep getting into wars. We're in Korea. We're in Vietnam. We're in fucking Afghanistan and Iraq, and we're trying to do shit here. Let's just try to lay low for a second, and then the left is like, let's get the fucking Ukraine. It's like, okay, hey. So you kind of just go, what's going on right now? But I think like something that has switched. Another thing is in respect to the health space, where it seems like the right now is very much more, not so much more, but kind of all natural. Maybe they don't want to be taking the bamps, and they are questioning, how the FDA approves things, from everything from the food that we eat to the drugs that we consume, whatever. It seems like the right is more like, let's go natural, sort of working on my health, not relying on the government to take care of me once I'm sick with all this metabolic dysfunction. And the left is more like, you need to help me. I'm healthy at any size, whatever, like all that sort of bullshit. So it is interesting because when I think of like the left, like the first thing, word association is like hippies, Berkeley. Like that's what, and 60s, like hippies, Berkeley, 60s. That's what I think. And those people didn't fucking trust the government. Those people were living on, almost said combines. That's not it. Co-ops. Living on co-ops, with their fucking chickens. And the chickens are laying eggs. They're eating those. They're not going factory farming. They're doing the farmer's market kind of deal. Like that used to be like more of a lefty sort of thing. And now it's like an anarchy sort of thing. So it's just very interesting how things are kind of bait and switching and that the extremes kind of end up touching. Because when you look at communism and you look at fascism, it's like they kind of end up being like this. It always leads to an authoritarian type deal, right? So it's the same sort of thing where it's like you bait and you switch, and the left is so left that they're Antifa, and Antifa is just as bad as like the fucking lynching people, the KKK. So it's just very strange. It's very strange. So I'm always keeping my eye out for new trends, seeing how people are switching sides. So I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I think it's interesting. Much like I was very intrigued by Regina Hunter yesterday and all of the alimony, the divorce deal. Not so much the laws. I could really care less about the statutes and the laws and the alimony. It's more of just I like the stats, because what's really interesting about family law is actually not family law, but really the data that you get from it. Who's coming in to her doors? Is it mostly women? What age are they? What are their gripes? What are their main complaints with their partner? I'm sure you see a lot of trends. You see a lot of the same things. Why is that happening? And then, you look at more generalized trends and stats on the country at large, and it seems like there's a bit of a breakdown of the American family. Some subgroups, some ethnicities, more than I almost said ethnicities, like an idiot. Some ethnic groups more than others. And I like to just know why. And I want to know if, Regina's statistics reflect that of the general population. Why is that happening? What are the complaints? What are things now that you hear a lot about that people are coming to get divorced over, which weren't really the case, say, 15, 20 years ago? And why are those changes happening? Is it social media? Is it, women in the workforce? Like, all those things really interest me. And so that's why I was badgering her with questions. And, unfortunately for her, I have her number and I could continue to badger her with questions. But I try to do it, somewhat infrequently so that I don't drive people away. Because there is a delicate line where, people are very, not charmed. What's the word I'm looking for? Not intrigued, but they find it endearing that you're interested in what they're doing. But then it can cross into you're annoying me, leave me alone. So I try to, read their body language. Is she kind of like giving me sighs? Is she like tired of talking about it? But if I'm getting all the right signals that she's happy that I'm asking questions, and and nothing makes my little, A student heart happier than when people go, that is a great question. Because I go, fuck yeah, I nailed it. So when you're giving me that sort of feedback, I'm just going to be asking you questions all day. So just very interesting stuff, because I think that America's in trouble, much like much of the world, but specifically America in terms of the demographic changes, people not having children, which is a problem in America. Not as bad as in other countries. Holy shit. China's in a lot of trouble. South Korea's in a lot of fucking trouble. Japan's in a lot of fucking trouble. Even Russia's in a lot of trouble because they are not breeding like they should, and they are letting a lot of young men die on the front lines. So that sort of stuff is intriguing to me. So I like to hear about, changes over time and the breakdown of the American family and why that is the case. None of it applies to me, of course. In terms of that, I don't think I will be having children anytime soon. And if I'm not having them anytime soon, I really shouldn't be having them at all. I don't know if it's the most responsible thing to be. I understand you're playing Russian roulette anytime you try to breed. You could be 21, healthy as a horse, and have a kid that's all fucked up. I understand that happens, but yeah, you're really messing with fire if you start, trying to do it. I would say once you hit 40, it's probably time to close up shop after that. And I know I'm going to offend somebody. Oh, I got a kid at 45 and he's great. Awesome, great. But you took a risk because you knew it probably wasn't the safest thing to do after 40 as a geriatric mother. And you took a risk and, phew, you were fine. Your kid was all right. But apparently it's kind of like, at least the way that Dan described it, doesn't seem like it's, women having kids, totally fine. And then it just kind of slumps down into, more problematic. It seems like it just falls off a cliff pretty quickly in like the realm of 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, probably not having kids, probably not getting married, which is fine. That's fine with me. I'm a little bit of a unorthodox in that way, I guess. But me, you guys know my stance on circumcision and marriage. Not a bit. I mean, if I was, really Jewy or something, or I was trying to get into the country, something like that, then that's fine. That makes sense. Then I'm happy to get married or, to appease the family. But if I'm not a religious person and I'm not planning on having children and I am not trying to get a green card, then what the fuck is the point? Well, the tax write-off. I don't know. I like just kind of where I'm at. I feel like I'm at the finish line right now. Like I'm in a great relationship. I'm having a great time. Maybe I have kind of like a male brain where I'm like, why we don't need to bring the government in this shit. Like we're having a good time. Why fuck it up with, and I'm not planning on changing my name. And I don't want a big fucking wedding because I think they're a waste of money. They're a waste of money. And I know a lot of people planning weddings. Let me tell you, they don't look too happy about it, even though they seem excited about it on the outside. It seems like, the excitement turns into stress very quickly when you're trying to plan a wedding. I've seen it firsthand. And it just goes by so quickly, even weddings that are like moderate in terms of pizzazz, nothing super special, nothing crazy. Even that is like 35, 40 grand. Like, boom, just catered, the venue, centerpieces, your wedding dress, like all of that shit for fucking 4 hours. How about we go to the Mediterranean for a month? Like, let's do that instead, or a down payment on a house or a new car or something like that. But it just seems like a wedding to me, I don't know. To me, it seems like a waste of money. But again, it's not important to me. I've met people where it's like, listen, actually the last wedding that I was in, the only wedding I've been in, and the only wedding that I've been allowed to bring a plus one. I talked to the bride about it. I go, that's a lot of money, wouldn't you rather just fucking go to the Bahamas? I don't know. And she goes, listen, I know it's a waste of money. She even said it. She's like, I know it's a waste of money. It is a lot of money. Let's just say not a waste. She goes, but I've dreamed about this day since I was a little girl. And it's really important to me that I have these memories. Like it's to her, that was where the finish line was getting married and having a wedding. And you go, okay, hey, I get it. Like that is something that you've been thinking about since you were a little girl and you've fantasized about and it's important to you. Go fucking do it. And she paid for herself. So, hats off to her. But I didn't dream about that shit when I was a little girl. I dreamed about being an astronaut. I wanted to go to space camp. And then I found out I have a very weak stomach. And I do not like roller coasters or any sort of G-forces. So being an astronaut was kind of out of the question. So, yeah, I dreamed about other stuff. I'm trying to think of like a childhood fantasy I had. I don't know, having a tree house. I didn't really think too far in the future as a kid. I was like, well, what's tomorrow? What does tomorrow bring? What about the summer? I want to go to sports camp and then immediately regretted it. I remember there was a vivid memory. It was me, my Persian friend who pretended to be Muslim. And there's a reason why that's important. And this other Jewish child, I'm not a child, he's 36 now probably, guy I grew up with named Daniel Weinberger, okay? And I have a very vivid memory, I must have been about 11 or so, of me being at sports camp. And the way that school used to work for me when I was a kid, I don't know if anybody else did this or this was just a dumb California thing, but K through 8, I was on the track system. So it wasn't like you go to school for 9 months, you're off for 3. It was you're on for 2, off for 1, on for 2, off for 1. Parents fucking hated it because you had like, let's say July and August on and then all of September off. And then October, November on and then all of December off. And just like, as you can see, right? And they had different tracks. So there was orange, blue, and green. So then, maybe your friend's on green track, so they got October off, but you're on orange track, so you get September off, and you can't coordinate, and so they can't, the person you used to carpool with, you can't. So it was just a fucking nightmare. And parents hated it. They complained about it, but there was no summer off deal. It was all just the track system where I lived. So there was a local, there was a sports camp and an arts camp at this local recreation center, and it was just a year-round thing because there were always kids that had a month off. So the parents would just dump their kids at arts camp or sports camp, and then that was like school hours, and then your parent would pick you up because they're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with you for a goddamn month, every third month? This is insane. So it must have been around Christmas time, and I have some great memories of sports camp. Some of my darkest memories of sports camp that me and my friend in California will reminisce on every once in a while. But one of the funnest / scariest moments was we didn't want to do there was like a Christmas musical deal. So we didn't want to do that shit because it was, I almost said something that I shouldn't have said. It was lame. Let's just say we thought it was lame, and we didn't want to be singing fucking Christmas carols. So I was like, I told the director, I'm like, I'm a Jew, and if I sing about Jesus, it's going to burn my skin. So they're like, oh, shit, well, we don't want to offend you, so you can just opt out. I'm like, awesome. This other Jew kid named Daniel, same deal. And then my friend, my good friend, I'm not going to say her name, she is Persian, okay? She's from Iran. She's not from Iran. She's from fucking San Diego, but her parents are from Tehran. So anyways, still counts. Never did Ramadan a day in her fucking life. Like, not a Muslim, wasn't raised Muslim. A lot of Iranians are like, consider themselves Zoroastrian. They're basically just like, they like astrology and shit. They like the Persian New Year. Just give them some fucking dried fruit. That's how you deal with them. And she said, oh, I'm a Muslim. I can't do the Christmas thing. So the three of us, I remember, so they're like, all right, well, you're not going to do the Christmas deal. You'll just have to stay in the gymnasium. So we're like, all right, cool. And they locked us in there because they didn't want us getting out and, running away or doing some shit. So they literally locked the three of us in there. And Daniel Weinberger decided, and he was a boy and he was a bit bigger than us. He's just like, I'm going to have some fun. And I remember there was just like a whole, like a metal cage of balls for dodgeball back when dodgeball was a thing. And this motherfucker, it was just like, I just felt like we were getting like pelted like the Vietnamese or something. And this guy just went deep he just barricaded the cage for himself, and he just started taking balls. It didn't matter if they were fucking softballs, if they were basketballs, if they were Dodge rubber balls. Like, he just started fucking pelting me and my friend. Boom. Boom. We're just running around screaming. No one can hear us because it's like, la 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 la, because they're all doing their singing choir bullshit. And for like 30 minutes, me and my friend, we're laughing and like also terrified because there was no reprieve. There was nowhere to hide. The bleachers weren't down. Like, there was nowhere to hide. And they're just like a fish in a barrel, man. Just like execution style, getting pelted with these balls to the fucking head, softballs, tennis balls, medicine balls. It doesn't matter. Daniel Weinberg just fucking boom, boom, boom. Don't know what that sound is. Boom, boom. So it's one of those memories that I have, burned in my memory that must have been just so funny to watch, like as a fly on the wall of just this giant 6th grade boy just pelting. We were probably like in 5th grade at the time. Just me and my friend just screaming. No one can hear our screams. Just getting pelted in the fucking head with basketballs and dodgeballs. And he was just laughing, having the great. That's when you could abuse women and no one cared. It was hilarious. And looking back on it, boy, it was fun. that to me, that was like probably the best day of that fucker's life. Just like, oh yeah, let's go, and there ain't no cameras. This is like 98. Cameras weren't really a thing then. So great times, good times. 813-90 Bubba. To be a kid again, without and when I told my dad what happened, he just like laughed. He's like, he didn't start throwing them back, and I'm like, my aim's not great, Dad, and I was a little bit chubby. I wasn't very fast or agile or anything. And my friend, although she wasn't chubby, that bitch has got like one of the least coordinated people I've ever met. So, we didn't really stand a chance against Daniel Weinberger. And he also had barricaded all the balls for himself. And every time we tried to throw it back, it just, wasn't hitting, or he was like hitting it away with the other balls, that sort of thing. But, funny shit. And my dad thought it was funny too. So it's good. Anyways, hello, who's this? Yo.
Holy smokes. It's South Tampa. This should be called the Anna Hummel run-on sentence, but I love it. But
yeah.
I'm just...
well, you knew that. You listened to the show. You called in, so... People are always surprised. Oh, you didn't take a call. Yeah, no shit. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to hear how awful Tampa is, because I know you've hated on Tampa forever, and I know you wouldn't live here. And you're probably like some of my friends who live in St. Pete but really live I don't know, in Drew Street in Clearwater, but they talk about how awesome St. Pete is, and I'm using air quotes, obviously.
Sure.
But I'm thinking of my buddy lives like by Derby Lane, and he's like, oh, St.
That's
Pete's
exactly where I used to live, and I can
like,
say it now. I lived right there, right across the street.
You're like, I used to live at Brighton Bay.
I lived at Brighton Bay. That's exactly where I lived. Yep. I lived, and I can say it now because the lease is over. I don't live there anymore, but I lived at the verandas in Brighton Bay.
Oh, okay. I lived at the older one, but it's one of those things that because that's like a really good place because it's equidistant. Like you can get to Tampa, you can get to St. Pete, but I didn't consider myself in St. Pete.
Yeah.
That's like old Northeast where, obviously everybody would love to live, but I'm just curious, I think I'm not going to dox you. I know which building you're in because I have a buddy who lives in that building. And it's an awesome building that you're in, and what a fun time to be Anna Kalin. You're like a little Kato Kalin. Watch a house.
Kalin?
You remember OJ's buddy, Kato Kalin, who was the house watcher?
Oh, was he? Okay. Some of the details are a little bit fuzzy from that case. So, yeah, sure, that's me. I don't hate Tampa. I don't hate Tampa. Where I was staying with Blitz was not a great part of Tampa, but that was what we call up and coming. This is very well established. This came
45 years.
This area has already came, so it's nice. But when it's up and coming, that is when you're like, hey, call me in 7 years when it's been fully gentrified. And, I'm not worried about a shootout and my neighbor isn't taking her stereo for a walk in a stroller. When that is over, then call me and I'll move back into the area. So it was one of those, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seminole Heights has been up and coming for several hundred years.
Right.
I'm kidding. But it's one of those things that
it has character.
But then you have a kid and you're like, I can't raise a kid here where we can't go for a walk. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So.
And when it's up and coming, it's not that terrible, but it's one of those things where your brain is kind of confused because on one hand you have these really new nice houses where a bunch of rich UT chicks live, with their Jeeps and their fucking Teslas, and then 2 houses down from that there's subsidized housing where they covered a window with aluminum foil, and you're like, am I safe? I don't know. So, yeah, it's a little bit confusing when you're in a place that's in the middle of gentrifying. But like I said, Tampa proper, let's just say South Tampa, that shit's nice as hell. I ain't got no complaints about South Tampa.
Okay, well, that's my name and that's where I live. Not that I need validation.
Yeah, no, Tampa's awesome. It's a beautiful city.
I just can't wait to hear more awful Detroit stories, because that's another place that's also up and coming.
Yes, and I actually spoke to a friend. It was her birthday not too long ago, so I called her, one of my very, very few contacts I still keep in contact with in Detroit, and she lives in Midtown, and she loves it. And I'm like, for real? And she's like, Anna, it's not like it was when you were here, even just 7 years ago. It's really changed. It's developed in a great way. And I go, I don't know. You kind of liked it when it was grimy, so I don't know if I could trust you. So, but she claims that it's on its way up. They got a lot of new restaurants, and that was kind of starting right towards when I was ending my time there. And to be fair, I really didn't spend that much time in the city because my impression was tainted by my first experience there, where I got a misdemeanor. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this whole place. I'm staying in the burbs the whole time, which I pretty much did. So
yeah, my roommate in college was from West Bloomfield Hills, so
it's a nice area.
Didn't
West Bloomfield? Yeah.
I mean, it was not reality. Like, his mom didn't work, and it was.
That place is nice. It's stocked full of Jews and Chaldeans, and those fuckers got money. So it wherever there's money, it's nice. I worked in West Bloomfield. I worked in Bloomfield Hills. I worked at I don't ask your friend about Wabeek Country Club. I worked at so many fucking country clubs, and Heather's Club, Country Club. All of those were really nice. A lot of old money. So I was happy to hang around old money. But then when you move to the city and people are trying to make it, up and coming, it's like, well, you might get shot. So hope that works out well for you.
Yeah, that's the wonderful part of that. Or you live there in Section 8 housing, where they spend the entire day figuring out how to rob your place while you're at work. Which is
exactly. Yeah. So listen, I don't like dealing with that shit. I don't like. I mean, I always have my head on a swivel, but when you're around people who are richer than you, they're not trying to steal from you. That's just kind of how it goes. So I want to be the poorest person in the room. That's how I look at it. I want to be the fucking poorest person in the room because I want people afraid of me taking their shit.
Well, they might white-collar crime you, I'm about to run into Taco Dirty. We need to get Bubba to try that avocado broccoli. I'm telling you, I know he says he would hate it. He would love it.
Oh, I know he would. He would absolutely. Anything that's fried, he'll eat. I'm telling you. It doesn't matter if it's fucking pickles.
Go Warsaw.
Yeah, go Warsaw. Gotta love Warsaw. Yeah, it is bizarre. I've noticed a trend. I don't know if this is true, and I'm not trying to talk smack on Warsaw because I would never do that. But it seems like the people that are from the less, what's the word I'm looking for that's kind, desirable? The less desirable place you live, the more pride you have being from there. So, for example, not naming any names, but there's people I know, let's say from Cleveland, that, boy, do they love Cleveland. And I'm like, right, but it's Cleveland. I mean, is anyone doing spring break in Cleveland? I don't think so. Is anyone going vacation in Cleveland? I don't think so. Is anyone going to vacation in Warsaw? Just Bubba. Is anyone going to vacation in Detroit? No. You're there because there's either a car show, you're doing business, you are going to a wedding, Traverse City, sure, yeah, UP, okay, Mackinac Island, fine, that's cool, but like Detroit, ain't nobody trying to fucking vacation in Detroit. So, anyways, and I'm from San Diego. I should be bragging more than anybody because whenever you say you're from San Diego, people are like, "Oh, this is the reaction. Oh, love that city. Oh, it's the best." Yeah, no shit, it's fucking amazing in terms of geography, real estate. It's very beautiful there. It's very nice beaches. It cannot beat the weather. So anytime I'm from San Diego, I should be fucking bragging on everyone's ass. Hey, I'm from a better place than you. Hey, fuck you. I'm from SoCal. Hey, it's awesome. Surfing, amazing beaches, beautiful people. Fuck you. But I never do that. People from awesome places rarely brag about it because they're like, the city speaks for itself. I mean, I don't have to convince you that San Diego is awesome. Now, if I'm trying to convince you that Cleveland is awesome, that's going to take a bit more, persuasion. Because they got to be like, oh, but there's a rock and roll Hall of Fame. Don't care. But they got a really cool brewery. Don't care. Do they have beaches? Yeah, that's what I thought. Shut the fuck up. Does it snow there? Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. Do you have a lot of inner city crime? Yeah, not interested. Thank you so much. I will stay, on my beautiful city by the sea. Thank you very much. It is fantastic. Low humidity. It's the only issue, and even San Diego is actually it's kind of turning around, but the politics maybe isn't great. It's better there than like L.A. or San Francisco. Yikes. Fuck that place. That is a great segue into me reaching out to my sister. I know last time I talked about a little incident that we had, and I will get to that incident and what happened after this phone call. Hello, who's this?
Hey, Mr. Meaner Hummel.
What's up? I know it's Scout. How's it going?
We spent 2.5 days up in Detroit, and it was lovely. We went down to the Riverwalk. We stayed downtown. We ate some good food. We walked to the ball game because we stayed really close to the ball stadium. And then we walked to the casino one night and gambled a little bit over to the MGM Grand, and no issues.
Okay. I understand that a good time could be had there, but, you also got to keep your head on a swivel because they've also been doing 7 years of gentrification since I've left. So things are probably a little bit different. And perhaps we have, a little bit different interests. I don't want to be at the casino. I don't want to do that. So I don't want to go to the fucking ball game. Sorry.
I know. And I totally get what you're saying because, we walked to the casino.
Yeah.
And it was, 7 o'clock or whatever. But midnight when we were rolling out, we're like, yeah, we're going to Uber back. Although it's a lovely evening, we'll take the Uber. It's safer.
Right. Right.
So I feel you. But, it was good. We met some really nice people from Philly. We talked to them about the show, and they actually bought us dinner the one night. We were sitting with them at a bar, and they hooked us up and bought us dinner. So, yeah. We met some nice people on our journey.
That's awesome.
So
and something like a free dinner will turn you around on a city. You're like, fuck. I love Detroit. We got a free dinner there. I'm like, all right, shit. But let me just say, when Chris Cornell killed himself in that casino hotel in Detroit, I was not surprised. If you're going to hit your rock bottom, it's going to be in Detroit City. So
there's definitely some truth to that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. He's like, I just can't take this anymore. Offs himself in a hotel in Detroit. Yep.
We know and we get how crazy busy Tara is, but have you hit Regina up for a Flapping Gaps? You guys got good rapport. She's got such good stories. And God
I know.
forbid if you could get her to bring her mom
It's actually a really good idea.
I would love to hear an interview with her mother. Just a little bit Bubba tips on those stories. They're phenomenal.
Oh, I know. And it's one of those things where for me, it's a delicate balance because I would love to do stuff with Regina. And I do hit up Tara every now and again. But I know they are so busy. And the last thing I want to do is be like, can you podcast with me after you just spent 12 hours in depositions and dealing with fucking assholes all day? So I do often feel guilty even asking because I don't want people to feel burdened by it, but I'll try to weasel it in.
I get it, but she's doing less. She's coming once a month on the reg pretty good, but it seems like she's been coming in less. Just, Tom Bean spending a lot of time at LJ, marking trees.
Mm-hmm.
She might have a little more downtime in
Finding
the evening.
squirtles.
Zoe's getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know. Yeah, I'll reach out to her, but I always am like, fuck, am I the last thing I want to do is be a bother to somebody. That's not my worst fear, but socially it is.
You preface it with, I know you're a busy bitch. You are a boss bitch and you are busy, so you can totally say no. But if you can give me a date and time and we can work this, I would love to do this.
Yeah,
I know. No hurt feelings. But if you don't ask, you don't. If you don't get the squeeze, you don't get the juice. Woman.
That's true. So yeah, you know what I'll do? I'll talk to Bubba about it, and then I'll make him because he's better at boss hogging his way around. I'll just be like, Regina, I need to come in at a time. And she's like, all right, fine. And then I'm like, I'm so sorry. Bubba is like, you know how Bubba is, and then it's not on me, it's on Bubba, and I'd much prefer that. So,
but I think you should call her up doing the Bubba impersonation and tape it. And that could be a one-off in itself.
I could certainly do that. I got a lot of content, And talking with your buddies 4 hours, 5 hours every day, we get to know each other very well, very quickly. So, I know Bubba's routine inside and out. When Babyface came in and was asking him questions about, his eating schedule, I was able to, by the minute, tell him exactly what Bubba is eating. and when he's eating and all that sort of stuff and his nightly routine just by virtue of, sitting here talking to him for 6 hours a day. So, yeah, I'll do a Bubba show.
Very, very funny bit.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
But I'm glad you're getting away, having a little time. That's cool. But we're out here. We're listening, rolling around, doing the deal. So, keep doing what you do. We'll be out here doing it.
Woo! I get to see you in a few months. Hopefully you can make it down for 199 sometime. Yeah.
I wish. I would love to. That's like a whole nother cluster enclave of craziness. I would have liked nothing better than to, see, I don't want to point fingers at anybody, their downfall and meltdown, because, I've had those at Bubba events where you pass out and you miss a lot of an event. So to see someone else go through that would have been fun to partake in.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah, nothing is better like someone else's crisis when you're going through shit, because I know that's helped me through a lot of stuff.
Exactly. It removes you from yours. So
no, especially if theirs is way worse. So it's fantastic.
I would have liked to have seen Dan trying to check on him and stuff. That sounded hysterical.
It was so fun. I know. I was there and I missed it because I was so in the game with, on the decks on the 1s and 2s that I didn't even know that there was a medical emergency at all. I was so, zoned into what I was doing that I had no idea. So I know.
Just another time.
I know.
Video.
I know.
I tell you.
All right. Well, hopefully someone drops dead, next week, and I'll be able to, at least partake in the drama. I'm just kidding.
I expect you to be quick on the phone. Just saying.
I will. All right, Scott. I love you. I'll take you. All right. See ya. Yeah, there really is nothing better than when someone else, you may drop the ball, but then someone else really drops the ball, like the big ball. I think you guys know what I'm referring to. One of the greatest moments of my life. When I was in a world of shit, like really going through it at Cox, when hurricane epilepsy, April 2019, not a good time for me. A lot of clapbacks on Twitter that maybe I would have taken back. A lot of meetings with Keith Lawless and John Brennan and Mike Olivero and people from HR in Miami that I had to have meetings with, all the sensitivity training I had to do that clearly didn't work because I got fired a year later. All that sort of shit when I was really going through it because I called some fucking woman that had a epileptic seizure. I don't even know if she was an epileptic. She just had a seizure, allegedly, during a comedy show. And I was there. I was like, Carrot Top, man. I was like, Carrot Top. I was like, I need people to know that I was on this flight with this crazy bitch. Except I was at a comedy show in Orlando watching Andrew Schultz do his thing, and in the middle of the show, a bitch has a seizure. I mean, when does that happen? And then we have to stop the show, and the paramedics show up. It was just this absolute circus of an event. I needed people to know that I was at that show. So I take my ass back home from Orlando, 2 a.m., get home, and just, bust out the gram, start videotaping myself saying things like, man, this bitch, and I just meant a woman. I didn't mean it in a mean way. Had a seizure. It was awesome. Not that she had a seizure, but just the all of the shenanigans, the circus, the melee, the drama. It was just so awesome. The excitement of like, what's going on? How will the comedian address this crazy? And it was just, I said it was off the chain, which I regret. Not that the show wasn't off the chain. It was that I said, quote, off the chain, which was embarrassing because, hello, what is this, 1994? But anyways, got in a lot of trouble it was like 2 weeks of nonstop. I mean, I was suspended for a week. I had to write a formal apology. I had to have multiple meetings with higher ups, and what other bullshit make me do? Sensitivity training, which, by the way, all you would have to do is just like, quote, watch a video and then answer questions on it. And sometimes the videos would be like 30 minutes long. Yeah, right. So just open my computer, play the video, go to the fucking gym, come back. And then I could just take the test. And the test is pretty obvious. Like, oh, if you see someone that is, if you see a black person, should you pet their hair without asking? Like shit like that. And I'm like, nope. Didn't have to watch the video to know that answer. Boom, 100%. So did all that stuff. And when I was really going through it, and it was rough, and I was scared because I didn't have a backup plan, and I mean, I did, I guess Bubba was always a backup plan, but, not at that time in my head. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm fired. They say I'm suspended. I'm scared. And then it's like you come back to work after that, and then they expect you to like be your funny self, and you're like, I'm scared. And I remember Johnny B telling me, he's like, you got to loosen up. And I'm like, dude, I've just been, metaphorically raped. It's not like, all right, now, be sexy. It's like, dude, give me some time to get over this trauma a little bit, which obviously was about in the ballpark of about a year, because clearly I was back better than ever and really got fired the following year. But anyways, I was really going through the shit. Hurricane epilepsy, epic. And, about 2 weeks after that, another radio guy I won't name, Justin Pulowski, was maybe found on a chat room with teens. Now, mind you, like, Pulowski was like part of the mix, man. Like, he was a sports guy. He was super cool. Even Rhett will tell you, like, the guy had charisma. I'm not saying what he did was good or that he did it for sure, but it seems like when they get you on like a chomo type deal, it's not like maybe did you. It's like they got a lot of fucking damning evidence against you. So this motherfucker's on like Tampa Teens, okay, on a chat room. I'm like, chat room? Like, is this 2001? What the fuck are you doing? Like, you got to know that's a cop behind. That's obviously an undercover police person. Anyways. Dumb. And I was more mad at him, not for, trying to hook up with a 14-year-old boy, but more so because I'm like, there are just so many smarter ways to do that. Me and Johnny started talking about doing a pedcast. We're like, we'll teach you how to do it, right? It's terrible. Not okay, not funny. But anyways, I remember the moment that I found out what was going on in the news with Justin Pulowski, that he was trying to seduce a 14-year-old boy to have sex with online, and wouldn't you know it, it was an undercover cop. And I remember hearing that, and I'm pretty sure I think I started screaming like, thank you, God. Like, I was so relieved, because that completely overshadowed my event, which so I made fun of, not even made fun of, but, detailed a comedy show I'd gone to the previous week where a woman had a seizure, and the show was great. Not because she had a seizure, but despite the fact that she had the seizure, that the comedian was able to kind of bring it all back, start roasting the paramedics. Like, it was just a circus. So when everyone was like, how could she ever make fun of someone with epilepsy? Which wasn't the case, by the way. It was one of those games of telephone where it's like, she said what? She did who? She did, oh my God. It's like, no, I fucking didn't. But anyways, when I was going through that shit, and then you got someone like Justin Pulowski come out of here who was kind of like, not Mr. Tampa, but like in the mix of, personalities, all the people, and I got all the connections, and we're hanging out with the athletes, and I'm a fan of the Bucks and Mr. Tampa and all that shit. When that guy gets caught trying to seduce a kid for sex, I was like, fuck yeah, man, I am off the hook. And I honestly think he saved my job, because when they were dealing with my shit, when Keith Lawless was dealing with my shit, now, although Justin Pulowski didn't work for Cox Media, he was deeply involved with Cox Media, because of, I don't want to give too much away, but whatever, this was all public shit. It's not like I'm saying anything that was secret, but he was dating someone who worked for a Cox Media Group station, Hot 101.5. He was dating someone, so he was kind of like in the mix there. And then we would have him like on Johnny B show. And I think he was on Calta too, where he'd like call in and talk sports. He was like this resident sports guy. And we did events together where like the draft deal. I know we would do a yearly draft, and he was there because he was Mr. Buccaneer. So he had like a podcast, I forget what it's called, I don't fucking remember. Where he was, constantly talking about the Buck, kind of like what Rhett does, but not Rhett, because obviously Rhett isn't touching kids, but, like a Rhett type deal, Buccaneer podcast. And he was always featured on everybody's show, especially during football season. And so he was just in the mix. So when Keith Lawless and John Brennan were dealing with my shit with the epilepsy, oh my God, how could she ever? Oh my God. And then this motherfucker tries to, fuck a kid. I was like, hell yeah, that's way worse, and puts my shit in perspective real fucking quick. Then when you're trying to like backpedal out of that mess, you're like, all right, well, what she did isn't that bad. I mean, like, okay, so she made like a shitty tweet, like whatever. She made a shitty post, whatever. Did she try to fuck a kid? No, she did not. She ain't that bad. He totally, and I honestly truly think that, because after that, and I don't know if it was coincidence just because it was dying down anyways, but I really feel like it accelerated my people forgetting my shit because they were just so focused on like, oh my God, way bigger of a scandal than what was happening to me. And I remember like pretty much right after that, I think I may have had my last meeting. And I even went to the meeting. It was funny because I found out like on a Thursday night, say, and I had a meeting, like a sensitivity training, like how are we dealing with your bullshit meeting with the higher ups, like maybe a Friday morning. And I remember just walking in with like a different swag that morning, just like kind of like had this like smug look on my face. I'm like, really? You didn't get mad over this bullshit? I'm like, remember when Justin Pelosi tried to fuck a kid? So I was kind of like making that sort of stuff under my breath because I'm like, I started saying things like, I'm sure you guys got a lot of other things to worry about today, so I'll just be making my way. We'll make this quick, boys. Whereas the day before I had like, my tail between my legs, like, please don't hurry. So, I felt very confident going into that final meeting in terms of punishment and what they were going to do with me. Oh, and also something that I did for the epileptic community. They have, I think, indefinite amount of PSAs. I don't know if they still play. I don't really listen to Bone anymore, but PSAs regarding epilepsy, bringing awareness. They must have gotten like $6,000 worth of free advertising. Which, in Cox's defense, like, thank you. They tried to salvage my job and I guess their reputation, but they didn't fire me, and they gave the Epilepsy Foundation of America or whatever free PSAs for at least the duration of me being there. So it was at least another year of free advertising. Apologies. I know Keith Lawless was on some like epilepsy boards where he had to run 5Ks, and he told me he doesn't like running 5K, so I felt very bad about that. I'm like, sorry about that. He had people flying in from like Baltimore to meet with him to talk about being on these boards and bringing awareness and not making fun of. And it's like, wow, I really gave people with epilepsy their day in the limelight because ain't nobody was talking about them until I came along and really, put them front and center. So you're fucking welcome. Hello, who's this?
Hey, it's Pedro. What's going on?
What's up, Pedro the pool guy? How's your hot wife?
She's lovely. She's on her way back from a 4-day trip, and looking forward to her coming home. We have
nice.
A little bit of blasting to get caught up on.
Yeah. All right. What's going on?
Hey, so anyway, on a more serious note, you were talking about weddings and all that kind of stuff. My first marriage was a real shit show because we were kind of broke. I just started a company, so we had a small wedding. When I married my wife now, we happen to know a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
And so our wedding with food, we did not have open bar because we were with a bunch of drinkers. So it was pay as you go, bitch.
Yeah.
Our wedding cost us about $2,500.
Oh, that's pretty good. Man, you didn't have an open bar? That sucks.
Hell no, man. Everyone's a pilot, construction, and boat captain. Fuck no, man. I mean,
yeah,
the
but
bar
that
bill
sucks.
would have been about $7,000, $10,000 itself.
I know.
Everyone was fucking hammered.
I know, but that sucks. Like, if I got invited, I've never been to a wedding where there wasn't an open bar, at least for a few hours. Like, I'm not saying it has to be all night long, but, maybe, and I understand people can put away a lot of alcohol in like 3 hours, but if you have to pay for every drink, I'd be fucking like, dude, bitch, I just flew out of here. I flew here from fucking Tampa to go to your fucking wedding in Denver or where the fuck it is, and you're going to make me pay for drinks? Like, that'd piss me off. But anyways, I'm glad that you got to save $1,
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really invite anybody that didn't want to come down anyway, just because of that reason. We're like, well, we're just, it's just a wedding. We'll come up and visit you and we'll have a good time and all that.
Yeah.
The thing is, everyone says, oh, I want to have these memories. Bullshit. shit, you really don't remember much.
I feel like it's just
so much going on.
So much going on. You can't really like be present in the moment because you're like, is grandma okay? Is dad okay? Are my sisters happy? Did I say hello to table 8? Like all that sort of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone that says, "Oh, I want the memories," you know what? Fucking bullshit.
Fuck your memories.
Have a good time. Have a small. Yeah, exactly. Fuck your memories.
No,
have a good time. Have a small wedding.
Have an open bar. Don't be such a Jew. What?
Well, she's Jewish and I'm Scottish, so of course we're both.
I don't know anything about Scottish people. What, you guys are cheap or something?
Yeah, we're supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I tip well because
she's a Jew.
I've done every job there is.
Reflect poorly on her. Yeah, I get it.
But you're saying that you don't want government in your shit. Well, the only time that's a problem is when you start buying property or investments, and that's when being married. That's when you're, you get half. If you're not married and you're just buying a house, you get shit.
I know. And then I feel like at a certain point, I could be totally making this up and it probably varies state to state. But then it's like, if you're together and you live in the same residence long enough, then I feel like you're almost awarded the same rights as a married couple. Because it's like
You're not?
Okay. I don't know.
You are absolutely not. There is no, in the state of Florida, there is no, I don't know what the fuck you call it, but I was with my kid's mom for a decade.
Okay.
We were only married for 3 years.
Yeah.
So she was like, I'm going to take half of everything because blah, blah, blah. You know what my attorney said? You can go fucking pound sand, bitch. You get nothing. You were married for 3 years. Everything else doesn't account for nothing.
I didn't mean in terms of like getting alimony and shit like that. I meant more so when it comes to like taxes and again, I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But I feel like if you have like what is it? Not a live-in partner. I forget. But it was something along the lines of, and again, this is something that my friend told me where if you're with someone long enough, they just kind of treat it like you're married. You have, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you don't have power of attorney. I don't know. I could be making this up.
No, yeah, that's why I say, I mean, at least I got divorced in 16 or 15.
Yeah.
And she tried, and after she found out she was getting nothing, she didn't show up. So I kept the house, the kids, and the business. And
that's great.
She hit the street with her cleats and hitting the crack pipe. So
great. Well, you know how to pick them, so that's good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Well, listen, you have a great day. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
Later.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Knows how to pick them. Sure does. I kind of want to talk a little bit about my sister and how that went down. My mother might be listening. She says sometimes she likes to tune in. She couldn't find me last week, so she wondered. I love it how immediately she's like, "Did you get fired? Did you get let go?" I'm like, "No, we just didn't have internet for one day." Oh, okay. Because that's always the assumption in my family now. You get fired once, twice, 6 times for stealing lettuce or a tweet, and people are like, "Oh, were you fired?" It's like, no, we just had internet issues. Okay, that's good to know. But yeah, so we left off last week where I got my sister a birthday gift, and it got sent to her house. And I had texted her last Friday if she received said gift, which should have been in her possession for 4 days at that point. And I had not yet heard from her. Well, she didn't get back to me for another 24 hours. Actually, she never really got back to me at all because I had to send another text after saying so. Anyways, let me start from the top. I send this bitch a birthday gift because I'm trying to be a better sister because I feel like I've been pretty good friend, daughter, cousin, maybe not. A coworker. I'm not a rat. I help my coworkers out. I try to be useful and helpful and remember their birthday and shit. Lummy's is on Monday. And try to, show up for people. But I've really been lackluster in the sister department, and I felt guilty. The Jew guilt was starting to set in, and I thought, you know what, I could do a lot more than I'm doing. So let's try to build this relationship, kind of extend an olive branch, if you will. And so I thought, what is a good way to show, a reconciliation, but trying to make amends or whatever and make a relationship stronger by going out of your way to get someone a gift, especially when they didn't get you one. She didn't give me shit for my birthday, and that's fine. I don't care. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to send her something because I'm feeling generous. Well, I regret that feeling. So I send her a gift, and it arrived last Tuesday. I didn't hear anything Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it dawned on me that she had not sent me a thank you. She had not sent me anything at all, and she knew that a gift was coming because I had asked what her address was and if it was the same as before. She gives me her updated address. I send her a gift. I tell her to, keep a lookout in the mail. Something might be coming in, trying to be cute and nice and, whatever. Well, I don't hear anything. So I text her on last Friday. Hey, did you receive the gift that I sent you? Did you get the gift? Nothing. Fucking crickets from this bitch. You got to be kidding me. So immediately I go into a blind rage and I go, I hope it was stolen. I hope it was stolen. I hope it was stolen. Because that is the only excuse that she has for not sending me a fucking thank you text. I don't need a thank you card. Not everyone's like me. Not everyone was raised by animals or, by civilized human beings, even though her and I were raised in the same fucking household by the same two fucking people. But anyways, sometimes they turn out okay like me and sometimes they don't. So anyways, I'm not asking for a thank you note or even a thank you phone call because sometimes that can be cumbersome as well. But just a thank you text, maybe just a picture that says thumbs up, appreciate you, that was so thoughtful. These are awesome. Just anything to know that the money that I've spent and the effort and the time that I went to go and get your address and make sure that it was sent on the right day, in advance, all that shit. Now it's pretty easy these days to send gifts, but still it takes thought, it takes effort, it takes money, most importantly. The fact that you're thinking about somebody else and you want them to feel special on their special fucking day. So anyways, I get nothing from this person. So I text her the next day on Saturday and I go, guess not, LOL. Within 30 seconds, this bitch texts me back and goes, oh my God, yeah, I was so busy and shut the fuck up. I go, she's going on and on. I'm sorry, I was going to text you. I go, repeat. Did you or did you not get the gift that I sent you? Because you still have yet to answer my question, even though I've asked you now 3 times. 3 times. She goes, yes. And she sends me a picture of it. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. Did it? Because you didn't do jack shit. You couldn't even send a text. And you just admitted to me that you have spent 2 days in your apartment. You have not yet left your apartment. You just said you've spent 2 days hung over in your apartment, which means that you've been walking around looking at this gift on your kitchen table again and again and again and again. And it's still not registering that, hey, I should text my sister thank you. That's all I wanted was a thank you. And I'm learning more and more that maybe I shouldn't be doing that, even though I do like that pop. That's a dopamine hit for me when I do something for someone and they say thank you. I can't help it. I just like it. I feel like everybody likes it, but I may like it more than others. So I go, you know what? Like I said something, I don't know, something to the effect of fuck you. I'm never sending you shit again. Something like that. And she said, I apologize. I go, okay. Because that is out of character for my sister to say, I'm sorry. That is unusual. She usually is, the queen of being defensive and is like, well, you did, what about this? So, I have to back it down because I'm always saying, hey, if people apologize, like, what else can they do? They fucked up. They said they were sorry. They admitted fault. I need to reinforce this good behavior. So I said, I forgive you. It's okay. Enjoy the gift or whatever and let it go. Now, I was still fuming at this point, but I forced myself to kind of say something nice because she apologized and she doesn't usually apologize. So I'll roll with it. But in my head, I'm like, fuck this bitch. I'm not calling her for, I need at least a 3-month vacation from talking to her. Well, of course, she has to go and get COVID. My mom calls me. She goes, your sister has COVID. I know you're not very happy with her right now. I'm like, God fucking damn it. I got to call her and be all like, oh, are you all right? How did those 40 boosters work for you, bitch? You've had it now 6 times. Just outrageous. So, I called her yesterday and I said, hey, how are you doing? It was very much a going through the motions type of call, so she can't throw it in my face years from now and be like, you didn't even call me when I had COVID. Yes, I did. I called you. So I asked her, I'm like, how you doing? What's going on? I tried to express sympathy, but it probably didn't sound very genuine. It was like, oh, well, that sucks. Like that sort of thing, But whatever, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you didn't even care. It's like, well, I called you. Well, I said the words. I'm sorry. That sucks. That sounds like someone who cares. But my whole thing is like, all right, like, can you breathe? Is she breathing? Yeah, she's breathing. She's just, uncomfortable. All right, fine. That's fine. She's fine. Everything's okay. She'll be fine. I'd be a little concerned if they're like, she is going into a coma and her lungs are filling up with fluid. But if the bitch is just coughing and sounds like shit, like whatever, it's okay. She'll survive. So she's able to talk on the phone. She was fine. Everything's good. And so she said she got COVID. And then right at the end, because I told myself, I said, don't mention the bears. Don't mention the bears. But then I was just like, you know what? Fuck that bitch. She didn't say thank you. And I got her all these aromatic candles. So fuck that. I'm like, how'd that vaccine, the bear work for you? You've had now 4 breakthrough cases of COVID and you've gotten 16 shots. I mean, have you been convinced that this maybe isn't working? So yeah, I kind of let it fly a little bit. And oddly enough, she didn't come back with the best retort ever, which is their only defense. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here, but the only thing when someone comes at you like I did to my sister and they go, wow, really looked like those bears worked so well. You're sick in bed for a week for the 3rd time. Interesting. Obviously the only comeback from that is, well, if I didn't get the bears, I could have been in the hospital. I could have been on a ventilator. I could have been dead. That's what they're supposed to say, but I'm smarter than my sister, and she's just said, well, if my doctor tells me to do it, I'm going to do it, so don't even try to go there. I'm like, well, maybe you need a new doc, because clearly if someone said, if you take this bear, you won't get sick or it won't be too bad, and you've been bedridden now for, collectively altogether a month, this is a problem. But I didn't, after that, I let it out. She didn't say, you got to always come out. Guys, if you got the bear, and someone comes at you like I did, your only defense is, well, if I didn't get it, I would have been dead. I could have been dead. Who knows what could have happened? And that is a justifiable defense because we don't know what would have happened. It could have been the case that if you didn't get the bear, and you got schmovid, you could have been dead. Like because we will never have that data. So it's a, what do they call it? Unfalsifiable claim. I can't tell you that you're wrong because we will never have that data because you never got COVID without the bear. So we don't know. We'll never know. So that's your only retort. But sometimes when you're smarter than the person, they don't think of that. So they just go, well, I'm going to do whatever my doctor tells me. I'm like, wow, we don't sound like sheep, do we? She's accused me of being sheep before. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? She goes, why don't you think for yourself? Bitch. What? So, yeah, but that's the only defense. So if someone comes at you like I did, that's really the only thing that you can say. So I suggest using it so you don't sound dumb. Okay? Someone comes at you strong telling you, why'd you get the bear? Didn't work. Well, I could have been dead if I didn't. Fair enough. Who knows? We'll never know. Anyways, I think that's enough rambling for today. I've taken all 3, maybe 4 calls. Thank you, Brian from Philly, for the $20. I appreciate you. Pretty good stats for Anna Hummel. 118 still on the YouTubes. Appreciate you. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I know I will be, because I'll be in a motherfucking penthouse. I do not belong in that penthouse. I am trash. But it's fun. It's fun to pretend to be rich. It's probably fun to be rich too. But again, I need those dopamine pops, so I'm going to stay poor my whole life so that when I get in that penthouse for 1 week a year, it's a big dopamine hit.